This episode drops Mondays and Fridays.
We think.
But
that might change in the future. For now, it is Mondays and Fridays because that's what we've been doing. But, it's such a new thing that we might switch it up.
For America.
Or actually, what do you guys want? Let us know in the comments what
works for your entertaining schedule.
What's your schedule look like?
What's up, friends? Welcome back to the number 2 podcast. I'm Glenn.
I'm Simi.
And this episode is going to be shit. We don't even have to bleep ourselves out.
I don't like to say bad words.
It's naughty. What are you talking about? You're always cussing. Not in front of the children. How was your week, Simi?
Good. I think when you turn a certain age, you're just like constantly hungover, even if you don't drink. It's just...
You're hung over the age of down the hill. That's what it means to be over the hill.
Yeah.
Wow.
So...
What are the primary symptoms of middle age?
I don't know.
Midlife crisis.
Yeah. I wear beanies now, so...
That's your motorcycle? Beanies? That's actually a perfect segue into one of our first topics.
What is our first topic?
Which is Survivor Australia.
Oh, I didn't know that was our topic.
It's first on our list. Are you guys watching Survivor Australia? There is an alliance in the season we're watching, and they are called the Middle-Aged Mafia, which is genius. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like Survivor?
11.
The pros of Survivor are learning about strategy, watching failed strategy. If you went on Survivor, what would your initial strategy be?
I think I would just be very social. I would right away try to figure out what the alliance was, make friendships and be like, okay, let's get so-and-so. And
would you be leading the formation of the alliances, or are you just observing through being social?
It's hard to say. We did a, what are those rooms that you have to get out of?
An escape room.
Yeah, we did an escape room. And right when those doors closed, something snapped in me. And I became this like person who I didn't even recognize. And I didn't know I was that competitive. So I would think that I would try to like fall back a little bit and try to be a little bit of a social player and not put myself out there.
Yeah.
But I feel like you never know what's going to happen until you actually get put into that situation. And then like the adrenaline starts going in you and you're like, okay, it's game time.
Well, and it's got to be difficult just because it's 24 hours a day.
So exhausting.
So you're exhausted and people are always talking. And obviously you're lying too to the people that you're not trying to work with.
Okay, I take that back. I would probably be very strategic, try to have a social game. Mid-game, mid-season, if I lasted that long, I'd probably have a mental breakdown and...
Have to have medical come life alert you away.
Just have a little bitch fit.
Yeah. And they'll be like, Simi had to leave the game.
Simi was a little fussy.
To go to the psych ward. But he had Taco Bell and he feels better.
He didn't win too many rewards, so he was starving.
And he blames all of you.
His blood sugar was low.
See you at the reunion. If you are not watching Survivor, what are you doing? Also, there's Survivor Australia, which is, what would you say the difference between regular Survivor American and Survivor Australia is? The challenges.
Yeah. I think they just have a different set of laws out there.
The labor laws must be different in Australia.
Like you must lose a limb before anyone can sue you.
You must now drown, have your heart stop while hanging upside down by your toes.
And jumping through this hoop of fire
for 7 hours for a toasty. Why Australian? If we have any Australian viewers, why do you call a sandwich a toasty?
It's a grilled cheese, a toasty, a cheesy toasty.
What is with countries calling foods random things, even though they're like commonly known in the world? I get a different language, like it's called this, but it's a different language. But it's like it seems like England, the UK, and Australia take great pride in calling things like stuff that they're not.
But I mean, that's what they think it is,
That's what
and
it
they
is there.
probably look at us weird, like why you call it like that?
It's not
Um,
a sand. It's not a panini.
or instead of like, how are you doing? It's like, how you going? How am I going? I'm not going
I'm
anywhere.
not going anywhere.
Or when they say resume, it's
Oh
like
yeah, how do they say
there's like
resume?
a J in there, like resume.
Resume. I can't do it.
It's pretty interesting though.
Such a good show.
You need to put that on do like
Can we
TikTok.
talk about Apple computer and iPhone settings and how complex they have gotten? You used to be able to click the settings button on a computer or an iPhone and easily, like brightness. Would I like the computer to lock in 1 minute, 3 minutes, or 5 minutes? And now you are launching NASA protocol.
I think you have like that one version that everybody hated that had that little scroll bar thing. And
That does not affect the settings of the OS.
I mean, there was a lot of settings that were up there that were just like ready for you, but like that little scroll thing, it's just not it.
Okay, well, I never learned the scroll, so I just have it. I should learn it just because it's probably great.
I don't think anybody who has that has learned the scroll.
It's complicated. Anyway, let us know if you guys are watching Survivor. You can watch. We're not sponsored by Paramount Plus,
But we would love to
but
be
we would
on the show.
love to be on the show. We have not submitted to be on the show, but consider this our submission.
We've pretty much seen every single season, and we're due to watch it again. So
Our biggest concerns would be being videotaped in our underwear in Fiji for 40 days without grooming.
You would not care. I feel like you're like a nudist.
I would care about the bathroom situation.
Oh yeah, bathroom situation is very important.
The leaves
Like,
to cheeks.
do they ever really say where they go?
Yeah, I've watched.
Do they
behind
go in
the
a
scenes.
hole somewhere, or like are they going in the ocean and like
No.
pooping in the ocean?
They don't go in the ocean because where they film is like not crazy tide. So there's stories of people that have gone in the ocean and then it's like floating there for days and days and days and days.
Absolutely not.
So I guess there's like they call it they have some name for it, but you go to like an area basically where there's a hole and then you kind of like cover it up, but you have to use leaves. Like nobody's helping you. And then I think you go into the ocean and kind of like
Surely that would be the one thing in production where they're like, you know what, we can give a little bit of a leeway. We won't just give them a hole in the ground.
No.
We'll let them but they do have to survive.
Yeah, it's all in.
I mean, because Hollywood and all that stuff is just a facade anyway. So why wouldn't they do that? Like, you're not filming that part.
Yeah, it's part of like the stressors that they're giving them.
I guess.
You know, I saw a TikTok about this guy who is a delivery driver for Amazon. And he was like, if you ever have to go to the bathroom, this is how you do it. And he showed. And it was, you need to have napkins with you.
I'm sure you'd have to have something.
And then you have to find a dumpster quickly. But he showed. And I was like, that's horrible.
I think I would watch like a video somewhere where it's like one of those Survivor videos where they build stuff out of nothing.
Yeah.
And they're in the middle of nowhere. And then if I got on Survivor, I would makeshift a bidet.
You'd have like bamboo plumbing.
I'm like, guys, look what I did.
It'd be like the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse. And then they'd be like, he's got to go. He's a huge threat. He's too handy.
If I got wind of anybody trying to vote me out, I think I would rebel and I'd just break the bidet.
Yeah. I mean,
you get nothing.
You get nothing. You get all of me or none of me. It's astronomical.
Do you remember that one guy? He was a basketball player and he started just like sabotaging everything.
They sabotaged everything. They threw away the machete. I think they hid the food.
They put the fires out.
They put all the fires out right in front of everybody. So salty.
You got to go.
And they didn't win. So our next segment is going to be about the thing that everybody cares about and probably what you're watching this on. Things we've learned on the internet.
TikTok.
But really TikTok. Because nobody's using the other ones. So what did you learn this week on TT?
Oh, the countless things that I learned from TT.
You're like, I've learned so much that I now know
There's
nothing.
this girl on TikTok where she gives all the updates on how to use Logic on Apple Logic.
Yeah.
And I mean I have a huge background in production when it comes to videography and editing, like videos and stuff. But I don't have a huge background when it comes to sound, so I learned a lot from her. I don't know her tag, but I'll put it down below. But yeah, there's
So for
so
people
many
that don't know,
things.
what is Logic?
Logic is a Apple DAW. Learn it's a DAW. I forget what that acronym stands for, DAW, but it's a DAW, and it's something that you edit music or audio on. And yeah,
So you're learning software from
yeah. There's like Pro Tools. There's Logic. I mean, so many. But
valuable life skill. You heard it here.
hmm
Well, you'll have to
I'm gonna produce some sounds one day.
premiere.
You
Yeah, you'll have to
watch.
premiere a sound
Premiere a sound on.
on the Number Two podcast. Maybe you could make our intro like
Oh gosh.
thing, and then you can be like premiering.
I just like imagine myself like being out in like um hiking, and there's like a bird sound. I'm like, let me grab my phone. Let's record it.
And it's like meep, meep, meep.
Number 2 podcast.
Number Two podcast.
Meep, meep, meep.
Wow.
What have you learned? Do you
What
know?
have I learned on TikTok? Most of the TikTok learnings I have are about like preventing child deaths.
Okay.
Like apparently this family was playing hide and seek with their kids, and one of the kids hid in a cooler,
Absolutely not.
like a cooler you'd
Oh,
take to
gosh.
like a soccer game or whatever, and the kid basically did not survive. So A, don't play hide and seek with your children for longer than 3 seconds, and B, that's bad.
Check the cooler.
Check the cooler. Yeah, a lot of the stuff in my algorithm is like child murder, abusive parents. So you learn about just like horrible things that are going on in the world.
Okay, go. Sorry.
But I guess that's not really learning anything. That's just toxic news dump. I learn a lot on TikTok about recipes I intend to make, where you're like, I could meal prep that.
I follow so many people like that.
Yeah. Like there's this thing, like I've made chicken before. You know, like you can buy raw chicken
Yeah.
and marinate it and stuff. That's for somebody like me that's like probably on the spectrum, like that's a challenge. So I buy frozen chicken and just kind of like cook it on the stove. I don't know. Anyway, so it's fascinating to watch people that buy real food and actually cook it, because that's like above my competence level. But then I follow this guy and he has a chicken shredder, and it's like this little thing you buy for $9 that shreds chicken, and it just like blew my mind. I know that sounds so dumb, but
I feel like every time I cook like a breast of chicken, I either have to butterfly it or I have to take like a mallet to it. Because if I try to cook it just like nilly willy, like it's just not
Yeah.
going to happen. Or it's going to be too dry or just like undercooked.
yeah,
So
it's like cooking is like a whole
you
thing.
do what you have to do.
There should be more cooking classes
I thought you
required.
took cooking classes.
Yeah, but in middle school.
Oh, it was middle school.
Yeah, and it's like how to make a muffin, how to make
But
like
you're really good at cooking.
a quesadilla.
I enjoy when you cook.
Well, I can follow instructions and I can watch videos, but I don't actually know what I'm doing.
Yeah, but you do. I feel like you instinctively know if something is dry or if something's done. Or
No, I don't know like internal temperature. I don't know.
Oh, I enjoy your cooking. So I don't
I'm
know what that says
mostly
about me.
good at microwaving. Anyway,
I learned that there is this tick now. I think I sent you the TikTok. There's this tick that's like because there's this guy who got on. He was super funny when he was doing it too. But he was talking about a tick that if it bites you or you get some whatever from it, you can't eat meat, or like your body rejects meat, like you won't be able to eat meat.
I believe that.
And he thought it was like a joke or something, and he like looked it up, and it's
I believe it.
but for the rest of your life or something. It's like I don't know if it's neurological or what. I don't even know the name of the actual like tick, but he said because of the rising like heat and temperatures and stuff that these new ticks have come about. And if you get bit by a tick going hiking, so watch out. You might not be able to eat meat for the rest of your life.
I never met a tick I liked. It's horrible. I saw a thing similar to that on TikTok this week, and it was like,
Oh, you did talk about something about a tick.
no, not a tick.
Oh,
It was like this museum you can go to. I don't know what kind of museum, but you put your hand on this area, and then it shows like what happens to your blood when you get bit by a rattlesnake.
Oh gosh.
and how
It
the blood
thickens.
like distributes and then how it like puts you into paralysis.
Doesn't it clot?
Yeah, it's like crazy what it does with the venom and how it affects your blood. And then the little girl like, screams and runs away. It was fascinating.
Mm.
No, thank you.
Going back to ticks.
Gross.
I know you know this because I go hiking with you a lot, but anytime I'm hiking and sometimes I'll wear shorts, if I see that there's like brush, not brush, what do you call it? Like
Bushes?
yeah, like foliage sticking out. I try to run past it really fast and like brush off my legs. But I always feel like there's like ticks. So most of the time I'll try to go with like sweatpants hiking or something, or like high socks, just because I get freaked out.
I don't like it. A topic I never thought we'd cover on the number 2 podcast: ticks.
Ticks. It's an epidemic.
Disgusting, and I don't like it, and I'm not here for it. Our final topic this week is not going to surprise you.
Oh gosh, Disney.
I love Disney, but no. We watched a movie. You've probably seen it by now. And it is the most upsetting casting of a movie that's ever happened. It doesn't make sense. It's unbelievable.
Do you remember the name of the movie?
It stars, no.
Oh God.
I have no idea what it's called. It stars Nicole Kidman, who is 5'11". And for reference, I'm 5'11". I thought she was 6'2", but she's 5'11".
She's just really, really skinny. So I think
So
the skinnier
skinny.
you are, the taller you look.
Yeah. Perfect proportions for a glamazon. Zac Efron, like from High School Musical. Joey King, which I don't know what she's from, but I know her name. And it is the weirdest movie you've ever seen.
A family affair.
It's called A Family Affair on Netflix. And drop your opinion in the comments if you have actually watched this movie. It's one of those that just comes up. Nobody's, you know how Netflix does. They just drop these things. And it's like nobody's even thought about it or heard of it.
Yeah. There was no promotions for it. There's no marketing.
I thought it was.
I didn't see any.
I thought it was like Netflix's first AI movie or something. Like Nicole Kidman and Zac Efron like wanted to buy new yachts, and they were like, "Yeah, you can use our likeness for this one film. That script seems fine." Like, there's no way that they were on set and they actually made this movie, even though they did.
Hey, if I was an actor and I didn't have to like do it, but got paid for it.
Oh, I'm not mad at them. I just think like,
just kidding.
At what point in the process? It's basically like, not to ruin the movie for you. It's like this. Zac Efron is a celebrity. He's like Tom Cruise. And then
it's like Zac Efron.
He's like himself. He's playing himself basically. And he has this girl that's his assistant, played by Joey King. And then she's unhappy basically because he's like all Hollywood assistants, they're underpaid and abused. And so that part's realistic, but she's unhappy and she has the opportunity to leave only because she's basically a Nepo baby. Like, her mother is wealthy and beautiful, played by Nicole Kidman, who's an author, and they live in this like. Also, the sets in this movie are unhinged. Like, nobody owns these homes that has these occupations, other than Zac Efron's character. You know what I mean? Like, even Nicole Kidman.
Book authors are pretty well off. And
yeah, but that house is nice. Like,
it is, but I mean, if you're a best-selling author,
and then why would you endure such abuse as like the daughter of like a wealthy? Anyway, so there's some questions. It makes sense loosely, but then there's a love story.
All that to say, we really liked it though. I liked it.
Yeah.
And then you were trying not to like it, but you kept on like looking, and you were watching it.
It's not a movie I would ever click on, like by choice.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you guys seen this movie? Would you see a sequel? I don't, like it was a lot.
I liked it. It was pretty good. And
what is it? What's your favorite unhinged movie that's similar? Like a movie that should not have been made because of the casting. Like, I feel like this movie, if they had cast unknowns and like maybe Joey King was the star, like it would make sense. But like Nicole Kidman is like Hollywood royalty, and then Zac Efron is like a specific niche of.
But that just like
actor.
Speaks to Nicole. Is that like Nicole by first name? Like, I know her, Nicole. Nicole. That she's an amazing actress and she can pretty much do anything.
I have no issue with her performance. I have the issue that she's in the movie, like, because she doesn't need it. You know what I mean? Like, there was no challenge for her in the movie. There was no reason to sign on to the script other than just whatever they're paying her, I think, and then maybe like she's friends with Zac Efron.
I
You know
don't
what I
know.
mean?
It doesn't make sense, but it was good. I don't know. Like nothing about it makes sense, but like you couldn't take your eyes away from it. At least I couldn't.
Can you think of another movie that's similar
No, not off the top of my head.
that is so cringeworthy? I don't know. Let us know what you guys think in the comments.
Just don't watch Civil War.
Yeah. Didn't we talk about that in one of these episodes?
We did. We did.
Yeah.
I was just you had me thinking about different movies, and I was like, oh gosh, that movie.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for listening to the Number 2 podcast this week. If you want to support us, there are some links in the description below. Check them out. That being said, we'll see you again. This episode drops Mondays and Fridays.
We think. But that might change in the future. For now, it is Mondays and Fridays because that's what we've been doing. But, it's such a new thing that we might switch it up.
For America.
Or actually, what do you guys want? Let us know in the comments what
works for your entertaining schedule.
What's your schedule look like?
When would you like it to be dropped? This podcast is also available, episodes 1 through 4 currently, on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
Stay tuned for more.
But the other episodes will drop as soon as you tell your friends to subscribe. Thank you.